From a school perspective, we're seeing increased need in regards to children's mental health and emotional well-being within a school setting.
I think for some students it's the pressure to do well. We don't have that sort of society, do we? People don't fail. That's not a good thing.
Children that have often high levels of anxiety, an increased prevalence of mental health needs, emotional well-being difficulties. We're also seeing teacher and parent anxiety as well. And obviously that then has an impact on the child, because the child is then often absorbing some of those anxieties around their needs as well.
We're faced with vulnerable children, and in the past where we have maybe used strategies or interventions to engage, to stimulate and to soothe those children, we just found that those things weren't working.
Children of all ages, I mean, we're talking about children starting school that are already, feeling anxious about being in a classroom. So if children are at home, not experiencing the nurture and the routines and the predictability of a safe family life, when they actually come into the classroom setting, their brains are on alert, they're alerted to the environment, to the stresses within the environment, and perhaps to the environment, the sensory impact of the environment as well.
CalmBrain is a psychological intervention that addresses emotional and behavioural issues that are evident in children today by managing mental health. CalmBrain benefits all children because it works as a regulatory intervention, which basically means it calms children. And children need to be calm because they are simply becoming overstimulated by modern life, which results in them having an overactive stress response system.
I think as soon as we heard about the CalmBrain, it was something we wanted to investigate. We wanted to investigate it because attachment's been going around for years. I've been on attachment courses, I've seen attachment training, I've spoken to specialists and educational psychologists, and we've tried quite a lot of the strategies that they're recommending, and we're not seeing the impact that we might have expected. And hearing that CalmBrain actually takes it that step further, that stage earlier, and really sort of goes back to the womb, it made sense.
I just got children jumping into my head left, right and centre, thinking this is exactly what they need.
I mean, CalmBrain from the perspective of a school environment and a parent's perspective as well is actually about regulating the emotional state of the child and actually enabling that child to access the learning environment so that actually they're cognitively able to be able to process the information.
It's been very easy to get signed up to. The screening assessment is fantastic. It very, very cleverly identifies exactly the areas that you're concerned about.
And it's perfect for doing in a classroom because you don't need loads of space, it's perfect for in any size classroom.
And everybody was really impressed at the speed that the plan came through. And from that we were able to identify, obviously your calming ones are better for after lunch, after break times, particularly for those children who still come in and they're really sort of high, adrenaline still coursing through them. They've had a great playtime, but it's bringing them back down to that level and helping them regulate so that they can then focus on what they're doing in their lessons.
We always use CalmBrain before and after break and lunch.
It gets all your energy out after playtime when you've been really excited at playtime.
It makes you concentrate when it's work time.
I feel like I can just put my head down and get to work.
I think sometimes you think, they need a bit of a break, they've been working really hard. Sometimes it might be a lesson where they come in, you can see that they're just feeling a bit lethargic, so you can choose the mood, you just click on it, press play, and it's really clear, really easy to follow.
Before CalmBrain I'm like all manic and jumpy
Yeah.
and then afterwards I'm just like calm and I don't really want to do much except from learn. It puts you in the mode to learn.
It's not in sort of overcomplicated or technological terms. It's just user-friendly for a Senko, for staff in the school to be able to think, actually, yeah, that's what they need. And then every programme is so personalised and tailored to that individual, which I think is really important, that you can really see their pathway.
CalmBrain focuses on developing a child's regulation system, which basically means it works by calming children. CalmBrain's ability to regulate is achieved because of the science behind it. This scientific approach is informed by recent insights into neuropsychology. This is to do with how the brain is developed and understands how early life experiences, including the effects of neglect, trauma and stress, can impact the developing brain. There are 3 key strands to the scientific approach underpinning the CalmBrain formulation. Firstly, it takes a neurosequential approach by being mindful of what area of the brain needs to be targeted to affect change, because the brain develops in a sequential way. Secondly, it underpins the importance of the role that movement has on the developing brain, especially concerning how primitive reflexes relevant to early infancy impact our brain's development. And lastly, it utilises the model of positive psychology and the importance that positive emotions play in developing positive experiences.
So looking at that science behind it and how important movement is in developing areas of the brain and helping areas of the brain, I like to think of the brain, it is a muscle. It does need to be stretched, it does need to be challenged, it does need to be used. And the way that CalmBrain pinpoints movements to develop that, all the different areas of the brain. I mentioned before about balance and stability. It's very clever how CalmBrain is used to sort of really nurture the brain in that way. It explains the science behind it.
They absolutely love it. They love it. They love all the different ones they can choose from.
What about bear hugs?
Yeah, it's really calming. It just wants to make me feel like I feel a teddy bear.
My favourite's pet hugs.
What is that?
Makes me feel calm and excited at the same time. Some of them, like Jellyfish Glide, and some of the other ones, they make you like really concentrate on them with all the different like moves.
Like Aunt's Riddle. That's really
a tricky one.
I've been practicing that.
We found that they were very quickly able to calm, to regulate, to engage in learning.
Where they were in September to where they are now, they're already, you can see the progress in them in coming in, being able to settle quicker, get them begging, can we do the giraffe one, can we do the fishes one please, which they absolutely love.
I do it in the whole school assembly, so we've got 400 children all doing these movements. The impact, the silence, the tranquility at the end of it is like nothing I've ever experienced in a room with that many children all at the same time.
Children are calmer, they're able to focus, they're able to concentrate, and ultimately we are having more successful learners.
Being a Senko, it's really valuable to have a resource that can do that, that can help you to identify that as well, rather than just sort of watching children in the playground, and they're actually taking part in a fun activity while they do it.
But sometimes it regulates the staff. If you've been out on playground duty dealing with all sorts and then you have to come in and get your class ready for whatever lesson, CalmBrain at the start just gives everyone that time to be ready to move on to the next thing.
I like it because it makes me feel calm, and whenever I just feel really annoyed, I just do it to make me feel calm.
Once you've done it, you feel proud and you can do it over and over again.
All my worries from before just go away.
When I'm worried about something I don't really know, so it makes me feel confident, and then to ask teachers if I know it or not. It just feels so good.
I really like CalmBrain because it makes me feel like there's something calm inside of me, like a calm medicine that came inside of me.
Massive impact on teachers. I know that because it became embedded in our school so quickly. Everyone took it on board, and it's still embedded and it's a part of us now. And teachers these days, there's so much to take on, there's so many new things to try. Things often slip off if it's not having an impact. This hasn't slipped off at all. They love it. They can instantly see the impact that it has on their classes, and again themselves. We often laugh and joke about it. I might say, I sit in my office doing the bear hug, because we actually understand the impact that it has for ourselves as well as the children, and I think that's a key part of it.
CalmBrain is now being used in many schools and with individuals, and the consistent experience has been that CalmBrain is a very effective psychological intervention.